All right, next one, and this one will be on here, run, hurdle, and what I've discovered, because we have big areas, beautiful facilities to run in, we do a drill where they run for 10 yards, skip for 10 yards, run for 10 yards, skip for 10 yards. And I'll tell you what, it's awesome. It has really helped transition and hurdle a bunch. Great way. Pull one of these, you know that one? I'm casual today. I'm not really going to be serious about my gymnastics. See that clock over there? Stand like this for 10 seconds. And then the next time it's 20, and the next time it's 30, and the next time it's 40, and pretty soon they look like that. Right? So she's doing something really good here. See that? Her back leg is bent. Why? She's going to push over her front leg. Watch what happens next. Stop it, right? Oh, we're a little late. But you see what happened? This leg's straightening. The back leg's kicking. The second hand is going down, because I do believe linear is good. All right? And her hips are rising. Now watch this shape right here. Okay, so what am I drilling? Back leg push, weight transfer, front leg push, snap down shape. Now, is it easy to make a kid look like how she just did this? No. She's in great position, awesome position, there it is. And that's what we're drilling. And that'll happen again if you pogo off your back leg. But if you watch what they're working, the push, there's that push again, right? She's over her front leg. Now watch how late the leg's closed. Did you see that? We're working a late leg close to a hip rotated under. This is a great place to do it. And there's that rounded shape again. There it is. There's that snap down shape. Okay, so here we're just doing round-offs. Is it just stopping by itself? Okay, and again, we're just drilling on the floor, on lines. Now, you see them picking their leg up to 90, and I'm going to explain this, and you don't have to do this. This is something I did a lot with age group kids. And again, this is it. Then you butt your foot. And I just don't change the shape. And I bring her over. She's almost right. She is right. You see that? That's about what we want. So I always have them start straight, start the fall, bend, and go. Just in drill. Okay? So that's why they're doing that. All right, so what's this drill for? I'm not going to show it to you yet. What's it for?
Weight transfer.
Weight transfer.
Wait, what was it for? Crossing over? It would certainly help you not to cross over. But the function of the drill is, I have put her in a lever disadvantage with her front leg. I am going to make her push really hard with her front leg. Here she goes. So, unfortunately, she goes too far over her front leg. And by the way, this would be a great stop there. This would be a great floor round-off. You know, a floor round-off and a vault round-off are a little different. Why?
Turn over.
I heard it. The floor round-off is more linear, right? We want to get out of dodge that way. A vault round-off has to have some elevation. So they're a little different. That would be okay. She's too far forward for what we want. She needed to start pushing earlier. But what I've done is if I take you guys and you put your front leg up on your chair and you start jumping up a bunch, what do you work with under?
Back leg.
Now, what have I done with her back leg? I put it in a lever advantage. So if you've ever stepped off a high mat to a cartwheel, you'll feel your back leg take off in a hurry. I'm going home and yelling at her right there. See that? You guys see this? That's like shaping drill. That's what we do all the time. And let's freeze one of them right there. See that shape? That's awesome. That one, that works too. You guys see pike arch? No, and that's a lot of drilling, and that's pretty good right there. That's really good. Run, hurdle, back leg rotates under, and then she sprints. Now, there's something I didn't mention. There's two ways to go with this right there. You can punch, bam, or you can bend jump. All right? Doesn't matter. You know what I found out? You know what I mean by punch? More of a pogo stick kind of looking thing. Or you can bend, jump it. The weaker kids punch, and the stronger kids bend and jump. And I've never told a kid to do it one way or the other. It's really funny to watch. This drill, the kids that turn early, they start hopping sideways. They look like they're doing a skateboard thing by the end. You know, and you tell them, hey, you got to keep your belly button facing the floor at all times while you do the drill. Okay, so something I didn't mention, and I wonder if any of you noticed, the last kid that vaulted, the last kid we used as an example, did you notice she had a little more of an component going up in her hurdle? Did anyone notice that? That she hurdled up a little bit more than the others? I think there is a vertical component in the hurdle. It's not much, but this is what this is for. And since this, I don't have them do that anymore. I have them stand on the one leg and jump off the one leg to do it. And it's really over the panel mat and go. Okay, vertical rebound. I've always felt like this is really critical. That they understand just a solid contact on the board. There's all the components, right? She's a little low on the board, but she's only running 3 steps. A layout, let me stop right here, because there's about 5 missteps in here. If I were teaching a kid a Yurchenko, I certainly wouldn't go vertical rebound to anything higher than an 8-inch mat. I would start by standing them on the board and bouncing them 2 or 3 times to the rebound. When we were going to flip, they'd be on the board and go 2 or 3 bounces to a top, 2 or 3 bounces to a layup, and then I'd start going from the roundup, provided the roundup was straight and well prepared. And I would go into 1 8-inch mat first, then 2, then up to 36 inches, and then you look like that. So do you guys want me to repeat that?
Yeah, please.
Just rebounding on the board. I hold her arm. We'll pretend you're rebounding on the board. Bounce 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. And then she'd do a back tap. Boom, boom, boom. Back layup. And when she could do that, then I add the momentum.
And on to how high am I?
And when they can do that, back tuck, back layup, then add the run, the hurdle, and the roundup, provided you've done your homework and everything's looking pretty good. Maybe even dip down slightly, right? On a vault, where's your center of mass go? Up. So a double layout is closer to a Yurchenko vault than a whip back. Whip back, to me, it has certain components that are similar. The press of the hips, the tightening of the body, the transfer of energy, and snap down. I get that. But if you stand, if I stood on a board with a table behind me, and you look at the table and you look at me, what has to happen? What if I go straight back? That distance between my back and the table closes. That's when there's not enough room for your arms to fit in. That's when your hands slide. To me, one of the key components is center mass has to rise. And that's the only reason I want to approach it from whip back. This is just a cool way for them to feel the takeoff point. So what's really happening right now? Where are arms? They're where they want them. We're there where we need them to go. Where are hips going? Up. They have to go up. She got to get up on this mat. So do it again. Press the hips under. Now, one thing that she did better at that time, I was just getting ready to say, she did this press instead of this press. The rotation of the pelvis forward and the belly button actually goes backwards. So it's stand up. This is just a cool way for them to feel the takeoff point. So what's really happening right now? Where are arms? They're where they want them. We're there where we need them to go. Where are hips going? Up. They have to go up. She got to get up on this mat. So do it again. Press the hips under. Now, one thing that she did better at that time, I was just getting ready to say, she did this press instead of this press. The rotation of the pelvis forward and the belly button actually goes backwards. So it's stand up. Right, do it again. And what I love about this is there's a locking of the body. You see what she now, her arms should be making it all the way back past her ears, and her arms should be straight. Good. That's all. It would take me like a month to get it all the way over there. Get it all the way across the floor. Better yet, an in-ground trampoline. And you stack up to their waist, and you can spot them. They bounce from their feet up to their hands, back to their feet, and they go back and forth. And they can do 15, 20 at a time. And there's not a lot of, there's just elevate the hips, and the hands will move back to the stack mats. Can you guys picture that? Stack mats, trampoline, bounce up to the hands, back to the feet, up to the hands, and you're not landing in a handstand. your feet are actually down, your hips are up. And they're going back and forth. You can do it on the trampoline just from feet to hands, right, back and forth. It's a great drill for them to feel where the hips need to go. And you give them a target. I want you to aim it that light with your hips. Bounce and put your hips up there. You know, or hold something. And they'll get to the point where they can do them by themselves. About waist height. Waist height seems to work really good. Notice I haven't said anything about arms yet. Because here's what I really think happens with arms. If the torso and the body, the upper body, do the right thing, the arms are propelled by what your body's doing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like if I took a pencil, a string, and a weight, and I moved the pencil, and the string and the weight would whip around, right? So that's your hands. Okay, this is your body. So if the body makes the right motion and the arms are somewhat relaxed, they swing to the table. I honestly don't believe that they're much of what we need to do. But if you think they are, here's a great drill. Okay, I'm taking your 8-inch back of this. When you're as fast as you can, that's it. Fast. And on the last one, they go down, and then what they try to do is press into the mat. So push the mat down. Let's see if you can hold 1, harder, 2, 3, 4. Say what? So I love this drill. They land pressed, in alignment. If there's any misalignment, the shoulders break down. And now we're going to do a little hand hop. Even better. So that we're blocking off the hands. Nice one. If you feel like you want to work out, you don't need to go to the gym, just spot 50 of these. Hand goes behind the neck, so you isolate their... My hand's there for a reason. If I'm mad at the kid, I squeeze a little tighter. No, just kidding. But what I'm doing is, I'm keeping her head in alignment by placing my hand there, and here we go. And it's very hard for her to elevate her head too far, because my hand's there. It's in the way.
Can you do one more?
Because I don't want them to collapse. I don't want them to break down at all. I want them to feel always extension rather than... one thing I'm going to say right now, your conditioning program for vault, if you don't have this in it, you're missing the boat. And open. And when you open, try to get your armpits as close to the wall as you can. Right. So you need this in your conditioning. And you need it standing, you need it in a handstand, you need it in a push-up position, and you need it in a support. Because they're all a little bit different. So go down. Up. Good. And this motion to the shoulders is Velcro across the top. So each time we went over, you hear, You think I would really do that on purpose? Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're going to look at one other thing. We're too close or too far. But I think for a lot of folks, getting those lines down, and they'll be between 25 and what? 27 and a half. Most of my team's somewhere in there. It just helps you know. It's a checkpoint for you. I don't like lines on the runway with a table trainer. Okay, so this is what I discovered. Oh, this is a post-flight drill. All this is she's on a pogo. She's on a trampoline. She's going jump forward, pogo back handspring, block over an object. And there's a, see the rope there? This is what I want to show you. If you want to do a whole bunch, we'll stop for a second. So you got them doing all those great timers over the wedge mat, right? And they're doing all that work. When they're little, you start them training here. It's a table trainer on a rod floor. Hand mat, punch on the rod floor, flip up onto the trainer, and away you go. Okay, and I'll tell you what, you can do a ton of reps before they're ready. Before they're ever ready to flip on the table, you can be doing this. You should be 1 or 2 steps ahead on this system before they're flipping on vault. So if I'm getting ready to flip on vault, they should already be doing a layout on the trainer. And consequently, most of my kids did fulls. That's an arms up layout. I'm working on blocking instead of dropping. Most of the kids did fulls before they finished learning a layout on the trainer, on the regular table. So it wasn't a hard transition. And I'm going to talk about twisting the next lecture. So